Hi everyone, and welcome to the Segilola Salami show. I'm your host Segilola Salami, and this is my virtual cafe. If you were here last week, you would know that I was down with a cold, and 2 weeks later, I think I am finally on the mend. Like my voice doesn't sound like a frog as much as it was doing the last 2 weeks. So fingers crossed, please pray with me that my little human does not bring back any more germs from nursery, because it just seems like just as soon as we're recovering from one bout, something else comes back again, and we sort of just continuing that cycle. But anywho's, who have I got here with me today?
Hi, this is Kyle Burbank. I'm a freelance writer and author in Springfield, Missouri, and I'm glad to hear you're feeling better.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. He's like, he pays attention. So tell me about yourself. Oh, you know what? I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. What would you like to have today?
How about a green tea, please?
Green tea. That sounds perfect. And what would you like with your green tea?
Um, I think a biscuit, maybe.
A biscuit. Let me see, what do I have? It's been a long time since I've offered anybody Oreo in my virtual cafe. I think Oreo needs to come and sponsor me because I'm always talking about an Oreo cake or an Oreo biscuit. But anyways, would you like an Oreo biscuit today with your green tea?
That sounds lovely. Actually, we have mystery Oreos right now, so they have a special flavor. You're supposed to guess what it is. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, you have to check
Oh,
those. I don't know if they have them over on your side of the pond, but
no, I've not heard of it. I'll have to go and Google it now and see if they're doing it here. Well, I guess most times they start over there before it then gets over to us. So tell me, whilst I'm getting your order, my little human's at nursery today, hence the reason why it's quiet. But I think I should bring her next time, just to make a bit of noise. But yeah, so whilst I'm getting your order together, tell me about yourself.
well, I am 31. I live in Springfield, Missouri. I've lived here for about uh, 2.5 years now. I actually moved here from Los Angeles, where I lived for 5 years. And while out there, I visited the Disney theme parks quite often, Disneyland mainly, since that one is in California. And then I actually now been to all 12 Disney parks around the world with my wife of 4 years. So I actually in 2015 put out a book about my travels to the different Disney parks, just some and essays like talking about how I met my wife. She actually lived in Walt Disney World at the time. So talked about that, and then just this year I put out an ebook just about how I self-published the first book. So
Well, that's interesting. So, I mean, there are a lot of authors, out there who've, done exactly the same thing. So, how does your book stand out?
the the the
The
ebook,
one
you mean?
about how to self-publish your own book.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to put out. I mean, I always got questions about it from friends or people that I would encounter that heard that I had written a book. So I decided just to compile everything I knew and kind of give my own spin on it because there's a lot of very detailed books out there, but no one author's experience is the same. So I thought I would try to share whatever I could bring to the table and also talk about the budget aspect of it, where I didn't spend a ton. I think my biggest expense of my book, besides ordering the copies, was paying an illustrator because there's
Yeah.
about 20 different sketches in it. So I paid her, but other than that, like I laid out the book myself using a program called InDesign, and you know, hired some editors, just pretty much copy editors, and asked my friends to review as much as possible. So really just tried to keep the costs as low as possible. And I think that aspect is somewhat unique for a book.
Okay. So, tell me about this program InDesign. What exactly is it?
Well, it's an Adobe program that is a professionals use it to lay out everything from like newsletters to magazines to you can use it for books. So, I mean, it's definitely a very quality program, but sometimes at the same time that can be kind of intimidating if you have never used it before. And if you look online, you'll actually probably see quite a few people in different forums saying that beginners really shouldn't be using a program like InDesign, but I beg to differ.
So, were you a beginner? Had you ever used it before?
I had never used it before. I had a little bit in high school. There was a before it was called InDesign, there was a page maker. So I guess technically I had a little bit of time with it in high school, but I mean, 10 years later, I was able to download it. And I think the key is just to go like a step at a time. Like if you try to watch a full tutorial or try to navigate like all the different options in the program, you're going to go crazy. So I would just go onto YouTube and look up one specific thing that I wanted to do and how to do just that, and then just kind of build from there.
Right, okay. So it seems someone has come into the cafe and hopefully she can hear us. Hello, who have I got there? Hello? Hello. Well, on her thingy.
Hi.
Hi there, how are you?
Hi, Lola.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Hello.
Yes, can you turn off your camera? Maybe that would help your internet.
Fine, thank you. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Fatima on the line.
Sorry?
Let me see.
Hello?
Okay. Okay.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, I think it's up now.
Okay, your connection is really bad, so I
Hello.
can't really hear you.
Hello. I think my camera is off now.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Fatima, can you hear me?
Okay, but I can hear you very well.
Yes, hi, how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I am very well. Kyle was just telling us, introducing himself, just
Yes,
told
I
us
can hear
about
you.
what he's been doing. So can you tell us a bit about
Fine,
yourself?
thank you. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very well. There seems to be a bit of a lag here. Can you tell us about yourself, Fatima?
All right. Hello, my name is Fatima. Yeah, thank you so. Yes, my name is Fatima Koise. I'm a self-published author of 15 children's books. I am the author of Bella, an African Bella story. The story of the Cinderella story, but in with an African twist to give the story a different tone, like an African twist to the whole story. I actually grew up when I was small. My sister used to buy a lot of books of Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood. So I wanted to tell some of these stories in a way that our children, African children, or African Americans, or any other child around the world can connect to the story, like give it a global appeal.
Okay. So just in case you couldn't hear us,
Actually,
the other person here with me.
so I have 15 books at the moment on Amazon. I love story. It's my passion. Storytelling is my passion. And I
Okay, thank you, Fatima. So if you couldn't really get her, so her name's Fatima Koise. She's a self-published author, and she's published about 15 books, and they're all available on Amazon. her inspiration came from, usual storybooks for children, so like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and, the likes like that. And, that's inspired her to do a lot of retellings from an African perspective, so that more African children can relate to the story, which I think is actually quite nice. So Fatima, Kai was just explaining to us, about the program that he used in laying out, his second book, to try to save costs. So by all means, if you do have any questions, do pitch in and ask him. So today is going to be 21 questions for you, Kyle. Hope you're
All
ready.
right.
Yeah. So just to summarize so that Fatima catches up with us, you said that InDesign is an Adobe program, and a lot of people, if you Google it, have said that if you don't have any professional experience, you should not attempt to use it, but you were able to use it, right?
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, mostly through YouTube tutorials. I think those are extremely helpful, and like I said, just one step at a time. I think you can really uh, figure things out. I've actually, after I laid out, it was actually my first book that I laid out with InDesign. My ebook I also did, but it's less important for an ebook than a printed book, in my opinion.
All
Um,
right.
but anyway, so I talked to another one of my friends who was thinking about self-publishing for the first time, and when he first went into the program, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure this is going to work out." And then 2 days later, his book was done. So
Right, okay. And so tell us, when you started, what sort of obstacles did you find in using InDesign? I mean, I hadn't even heard of it, prior to you, telling me about it. So I'm quite curious, what sort of obstacles did you find, when you were using it? And, yeah, so just let's start off with obstacles.
yeah, well, I mean, there's so many options in the program that if you don't know what you're looking for, it's going to be kind of buried in some cases. And so I think what I would do is I would kind of think of exactly, okay, well, I want this. How do I make this? You know how sometimes the first letter of a chapter will be kind of big and then it'll start the text after that
Yeah.
with the normal text. So I would be like, okay, well, I want to do that. So how do I make that happen? And I would just work on making that a reality, which is actually super easy. There was actually just a couple buttons up on the main toolbar to make that happen, and then from there it'd be like, okay, so then what's my next step?
How did you do it? So tell us so that, anyone else, say was going to Google it. So what did you do?
As to figure out each step, or just that one in particular?
Well, yeah, just, as what sort of, so, like how you said you wanted to make the first letter, quite big, and then the other one. So it would be quite nice to know what things you wanted to do and how you overcame them.
Right. So with that, I would go to I would either Google it or mostly YouTube, because then it's visual, and I'd the version of the software that I use is called Creative Cloud, because it's actually a subscription service. So I would be sure to type in all that information and type in I think I called it a drop cap, even though that's not actually what it's called. And I was able to find videos that show you the exact, so it looks like I'm looking at my screen, and then he shows me exactly how to do it, and 30 seconds later, now I know what I'm doing. And so that was pretty much it the entire way. um, as far as, oh, I need to figure out how to I want to justify it. Where's that button? Okay, well, there's that. And then adding pictures is something that can be really expensive. Like in CreateSpace, they actually, if you use their services to lay out your book, they'll charge you, after I think the first 10 images, they charge you like something crazy, like $25 an image. And it's
Really?
really laughable once you realize how it takes maybe a minute to insert a photo into your book. So I mean, that's where it really comes in handy, because you don't actually need to pay CreateSpace um, to format your book and everything. You can upload a finished PDF, and it costs you next to nothing.
I'm a bit sort of confused. Okay, so first of all, you said something about subscriptions. So is InDesign a subscription, or is there a free version as well?
Well, it is a paid program because it is, powerful. I'm sure you can download it because it used to be, back in the day, you just pay one price and then you download it. But now they've kind of switched to this different model. So they used to offer you a 30-day free trial, which was really great because then you could, you know, test it, see if you're going to be able to handle it, and potentially, if you're a fast worker and learner, finish your entire book before you even paid anything. Now they've shortened that window to just 7 days, but after that, you can buy you can, if you pay for a full year up front, it's a little bit cheaper, but otherwise you can pay for a month at a time, and I believe $30. So a pretty small price for the amount of power and that you're getting from the program.
Right. Okay. So, why do you need to use InDesign or CreateSpace or any other thing to lay out your book? Why can't you just use Word?
Well, I mean, Word's fine for if you're going to be making an ebook, I would say, and you can use like something like Calibre just to convert it to an EPUB. But if you're going to actually be creating a print run, which is something that I was really intent on for my first book, especially since it was going to be having illustrations and everything, I think it really just adds a touch to it because you want to have those design elements that you see from bigger published books. So
Okay.
I wanted to be able to do that and execute that, and I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg, so I figured I would just try to execute my own vision using a program that would let me do it.
So I'm asking, and this is me going to sound like I'm doing devil's advocate, but I've written, let me see, how many books have I written now? I think I've done, so let me see, three, wait, three or two of my books, I would say two of my books are available as paperbacks and hardbacks. And all, no, I think it was a two, let's say two, I can't remember now, baby brain. And I did everything on Word and it came out perfectly. So, and yeah, I've done mine on Word. I read all the instructions that Create Space and Ingram Spark
Spark?
provided with regards to, how to format it and how to do your bleed and all of those things. And, I did all of that myself on Word and, they printed and they came out, fine. So I'm just trying to, and so far, touch wood, no one has ever complained about, the book not coming out well because I've distributed it to libraries. I've had people purchasing the books, and so far no one has ever said that the formatting was not good. So I'm just trying to understand. So I'm sure there are other people who might have used Word to format their books, and so I'm just trying to understand the advantage that somebody else or CreateSpace or InDesign or any other paid service would have over using Word.
Right. I guess it just depends on what you want to do. I've personally haven't used Word, so I'm sure that I know what you're talking about as far as like the guides for the bleed and making sure your margins, which is probably one of the most important parts. But there's gonna be if you want to, there's probably fancier things that you can do in InDesign than you can just do in Word. So.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. I'm trying to, because obviously I've never used it, and because I didn't know about it, or I've never, until you've mentioned it, I didn't know about it. So I'm actually quite curious to know what these fancier things, because there's like different types of, there's knowledge you don't know that you don't know, which is basically where I'm at now with InDesign, because I'd never even heard about it. So I'm sure there are lots of advantages that I don't even know that I need.
Yeah,
So,
and like I said, I mean, I've only scratched the surface of it. So I wish I could point to more things. But I guess it's just nice to know that if you do come up with, if you're reading a book and see some sort of style that you like, there's a good chance you're going to be able to execute it in InDesign, and maybe you could do it in Word, but it's not really, Word's not necessarily built for the job, whereas InDesign is kind of where I land on it.
right, okay, that's
Like you
that.
can, like, not, that's not to say you can't do it with Word. I'm just saying that with InDesign that's what it's made for. So
Yeah.
I hope that
Fatima,
makes sense.
no, that's fine. Fatima, are you there? There she is. I'm just trying to see if she can hear me. Fatima, can you hear me? All right, I was going to see what she's used. Oh, she's back now. Can
Yes,
you hear me, Fatima?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I was just going to ask you, do you have any paperbacks out for any of your books?
Yes, yeah, I do. Lots of them. Yeah, almost all my books have PDF and ebook copies.
Oh, but no
Yeah,
paperback.
yeah, paperback. Yeah, paperback and ebooks.
Right, okay, that's fine. So how did you format your
Yes.
paperback? Did you pay someone to do
Hello.
it?
No, I just went on Amazon and I used the Amazon resources, the cover, the book
Okay,
cover creator on
yeah,
Amazon. I
right.
think basically that.
Right, okay, so you use the,
But
Amazon.
I recently, I think just last week, I came across a free yeah, yeah. I use Amazon, the cover
Okay,
creator.
okay, that's fine. I mean, just going by, what Kyle has said, what do you think about, InDesign? Is that something you would consider for your next book?
Definitely, because I have a lot of issues with for my formatting. Sometimes even Amazon will tell you they're unable to publish your book because of formatting issues. Like I currently have one of such challenges with formatting, like most especially sometimes the interior, one of my books, and the cover needs to be formatted. So if I would get something that will assist me do that, I'll be very, very happy
Right, okay. Well, seeing
because
as,
I'm doing all. Yeah.
okay. Well, seeing as, we're here and, Kyle, is a big advocate, for InDesign, but then like he said, he's only just scratched the surface.
Oh,
I thought I would just go and see what, the Oracle, Google Oracle has to say about InDesign, so it says that
okay.
Adobe InDesign CC is the industry standard app for publishing projects ranging from all types of print projects to digital publications that you can view on any web browser. So you can you can create print projects like stationery, printed books, brochures, annual reports, posters, and more.
Okay.
So InDesign does
Oh,
sound, quite good. But then something else that did pop up, which I thought was quite good, is something by lucidpress.com, and it's called an InDesign alternative for everyone. So apparently, so if you go to lucidpress.com, it says need a full-featured, affordable alternative to pricey desktop software or want to import and edit InDesign files, then Lucid Press is the cloud-based tool you've been looking um, you've been looking for.
fall.
So it's basically saying that Adobe InDesign is expensive and restricted to desktop use. If you want a free online alternative, then you
Okay.
should try Lucid Press. You see, the thing about technology these days, right, is that there's always going to be something that is a cheaper alternative,
Hmm.
out there, and then obviously
Yeah.
there's now options to upgrade and things like that. So thanks. I will definitely. I can actually see myself going to check out Lucid Press because again, why pay for something when you can actually try out the free option and see how you get along
Yeah,
with
no,
it.
definitely.
Okay,
And I
so
mean, one of the other reasons that I went with InDesign in particular was because I already used some other Adobe programs like Photoshop and Premiere. So actually, in my case, it was only a few extra dollars to bundle that all together. So I guess it really does
ah
depend on your situation.
Yes, yes, yes. No, because funny enough, I don't actually use. I should have Photoshop. I never really got around to it. I used an online. I never knew what's to call online platform, online app. And it's called Canva. It's actually another author who told me about it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Canva, yeah.
yeah, so I use
Canva.
Canva, and I think it's actually quite good because you can, let's say you have a picture that you really want to customize, you literally just upload it,
Yeah.
edit it, download it, and it's got loads of options. So I tend to use it for my blog posts. I tend to use it for my, the latest book that I used it for my book cover. Normally I would, get
Oh,
someone to design, but I thought, you know what, this time around I will try and do it, myself rather than coughing out dough because I'm cheap and I'm a mom. And as a mom, you've got to be cheap, right?
yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, so that's
Definitely.
what I
Yeah.
did. So I'm just looking at, the first page, of Lucy's person. I guess it's the sort of thing that one can expect if they were going with InDesign, So there are lots of examples. So you can have a poster maker, you can have a brochure maker, you can have a newsletter software, pamphlet maker, digital magazine software, letterhead maker, and you have lots of you've got lots of templates. So you've got templates for brochures, flyers, magazines, newsletter, posters, annual reports. Um, yeah, so it definitely does have, a lot of features, and you can
All
start
right.
for free. But then let me go to the price it, because sometimes I find that it will say sign up for free, but then signing up is free, using it is different. Um, so right, okay, so I'm looking now. So you can actually sign up and use it for free, but there are some restrictions. So you can get 3 pages per document and 25 megabyte storage. Or then if you go to the basic user, you can get unlimited pages and documents, print quality PDFs, and premium templates library. And then you've got the Pro, which does the same things with custom fonts and document analytics. And then the team one, again, all the different ones with team management and simpler sharing. So really, you can't really be that cheap if you want to get the best options with it. But I guess, you can try it out for free to see if it does, exactly those things that you wanted um, to do.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if I can say something. There's something I tried recently just last week.
Okay.
Yeah, freepick.com. You can get a lot of things like illustrations, vector diagrams, so many things for book covers
What is it
and
called?
for websites. And there's a freepick.com, freepick, the website,
Is that Peak?
freepick with a K,
Okay,
F
so free.
R double E. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you can
Oh,
get,
it's double P. Okay, so freepeak.com.
yeah, yeah, where you can get a lot of things like designed for, probably you can use for your, as your book covers or website, for your website, for um, um, flyers and so many other things. And there's a free version as well,
Okay.
where
Okay.
all you need to do is to create the owner of the website, like the
Okay.
source.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
that's amazing actually. So I
start
guess we've
using that.
learned quite a bit, and it seems like we had a bit of a slow start because Fatima's internet, as always, technology always seems to let us down every now and then. So Fatima's internet was not that great today, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to kick you guys out because I haven't got lots of time today. But I
Oh
think
my,
it's quite Well, I've enjoyed, having you guys because I've learned something new today. So I've learned about InDesign, so I think I'm going to go and give myself some continuing professional development as an author, to go and find out the different amazing things that hopefully I'll be able to do with it. And then this is the important bit. When, as Kyle has said, if I come into any problems, just go and type it into YouTube, and there's very likely to be a solution. And then we've discovered, two alternatives. So there's the lucidpress.com one, and Fatima has then recommended, what was it called again? Something Peak.
Free Peak? Was that what it?
Yes. Baby brain is the real thing. Seriously, right? Baby brain is real. So yes, freepeak.com. It shows you were paying lots of attention, Kyle.
Free. Like free.
Sorry?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. But before I kick you guys out, Fatima, can you tell people how they can connect with you if they wanted to check you out and see what you're up to?
Yes, I have a website, https www.fatimakoise.com.ng. You
Okay, so
can
Fatima
have
Koise.
access to details about me there,
Okay.
and my books. Yeah, it's a new website. Actually,
Okay. Fabulous. And how about you,
on
Kyle?
Twitter, I'm also on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And my books are on Amazon.
Okay.
As well.
Okay, perfect. And how about you, Kyle?
Well, my ebook all about my self-publishing adventures is called Write, Print, Publish, Promote, and that is on Amazon, as well as my Disney book is called The E-Ticket Life. And then, of course, I'm on Twitter, at Kyle Burbank on there, and you can search for me on Goodreads and places like that.
Fabulous. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys today on the show. And fingers crossed, I'll see you guys again sometime soon.
Yes, thanks so much. Great talking to you.
Take care, everyone, and see you again next time on the Segilola Salami Show. Bye now.